Hello, and welcome to another episode of Living, Loving, and Learning in a Sensational World. I'm your host, Lataanya, and today we're joined by my lovely husband, Joe.
Hello, everybody.
Ellen is missing today, but that's because we're starting a series on our journeys into the sun world. So we decided that it would be a good idea for me to speak to my husband. She'll do an episode where she's speaking to her husband, and then we will do an episode where me and Ellen talk together about what we've spoken about previously and other people's experiences that they've shared with us. So we're going to jump straight in, and I'm going to ask you, Joe, what was your first inkling that your child had special educational needs or disabilities?
Uh, well, you bringing it to my attention that when you went to go and get Jackson fitted for his first pair of shoes, that the lady there couldn't get the shoes on because Jackson's class as an extreme tiptoe walker. Now, we didn't know this at the time. So he couldn't actually bend his foot up to be able to get a shoe on. It would cause him too much pain. And my mum saying, "Oh, I think there's something a bit different about him," But I was just, no, kids are different. They all get on at their different times and walk and talk, and so yeah, I wasn't that fussed about it. I just thought he was just being him, and there was nothing to worry about.
And you thought I was being a bit of a drama queen.
I wouldn't say a drama queen, but I think sometimes you can really look at things as where I maybe I'm just like, yeah, well, everyone's different, like whatever type thing, but you're more in tune with them type of things.
Okay, so when it was brought to you by like me and your mum, how did you actually feel at that time?
Uh, I don't know how to describe how I felt because I feel like I'm always someone who's quite in tune with the kids
Mm.
and can pick up on when they're sad or when they're struggling or when they're really happy. So I think you and my mum mentioning it to me, I think kind of put me on the back foot a little bit. Like I hadn't noticed it, like, oh, but honestly, I just thought, no, all kids are different. He's just developing at a different time.
Okay, so obviously, eventually, you got on board with the fact that Jackson was different and he
Yeah.
did have struggles. So, do you remember how we started the process of the assessment? And did we find it, or did you find it, sorry, easy to navigate?
I think with the assessment, I would say, we've been very lucky with the people we've met along the way. So, like
Mm.
Jackson Nursery and how they would explain things. And like, you're one of them people that when someone says something to you, you'll research it to death. So, I know that you were bombarding me with information as well. Like, this is this and this is this. And I was just a bit like, oh, okay, okay. So, I think at first I was just a bit like, why there was the talk of it before he had the diagnosis. I was kind of just like, half of me was, or I'd probably say three quarters of me was like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like everyone just likes putting labels on people nowadays. Like that, honestly, I think that's what was going through my head.
Okay.
But then the other part of me was a bit, you know, I'd probably say a little bit worried, but I wasn't letting myself think about that. I was kind of blocking that side off.
Okay. So did you really think that you was kind of massively in denial then?
Yeah. No, honestly,
Okay.
honestly, I did. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
do you
not that
remember
deep.
what,
like,
you're not
like
that deep.
honestly, I did. Yeah.
Do you remember how we kind of got it started? Do you remember what steps we took or I took? Because
Yeah, I remember we obviously the nursery brought somebody else in to work a bit more one on
educational
one. Yeah,
psychologist,
to
yeah.
work one on one with Jackson and just assess him because he was missing key milestones. They were saying or
Mm.
key points in play and
Hmm.
communication and then I remember us going to that. I can't remember that clinic, but we saw that doctor lady. I always forget her name.
It was community pediatricians, and we
That's it.
saw
That's
a
it.
doctor there. Yeah.
Yeah, and she mentioned a few things to us, and then she said, "Actually, I'm going to put you down now because the waiting list is 18 months, 18 months to 2 years.
Yeah.
So if we do it now, and then we get the ball rolling, and it turns out to be nothing, at least you're on the waiting list as opposed to doing it two
Yeah.
years down or a year down the line." So yeah, that was probably. I do remember vaguely. I'm not going to lie and say yeah, I remember every step. I'm not like you, but yeah.
Yeah. No. So you've actually missed a big chunk. Um,
Oh,
Originally, we went to physio. Physio was our first step in the process because of the feet.
oh,
And then physio, at the same time, nursery had said he's quite behind. We'd like to apply for additional funding. I was like, yep, that's fine. Worked with physio for a little while. And then the physio was like, I believe there could be something deeper rather than it just be kind of a physical thing.
yeah,
Um, and she mentioned a bunch of things, and autism was one of them. Um, so we went to our GP and said, like, along with what nursery's saying and what physio's saying, can we have a look and see? And that's when they referred us to the community pediatricians.
yeah. In all fairness, I
So
feel like I've blocked out the whole
quite a
physiotherapy
lot
and
of that.
everything that entails through trauma to
Yeah.
myself from everything from that. But yeah, no, no. Now you're saying it, I do remember it. But yeah, it's strange because it happened over like quite a period of time. But it did
Mm,
feel like now looking back, like everything went quite fast. Really, everything was quite quick in how it happened for me, anyway. But I suppose because I'm going to work and then I'm coming home and then just messing around with the kids, I'm only
mm,
getting them a few hours in the evening, aren't I?
yeah.
I'm not. I get all the fun stuff basically, don't I? I get to come in and act like an idiot. You're the one who's there, making sure they're doing things.
Yeah. So during the whole process of like having him assessed and after his diagnosis and stuff, do you feel like you were supported, like either by like family, friends, or professionals? Did you feel like there was any kind of obvious support?
I would say, yeah, I would. I would say he was there to support me 100%.
Mm,
And I suppose family is in from like my mum, and we did have lots of support from the school, from the nursery as well. But I
yeah,
do
they
I
were
do
really
feel like
supportive.
I'm a very difficult person. I was very shut off when I found out Jackson was his diagnosis. I was a big believer in you're a product of your environment, and the talk was that
Hmm.
he would need to go to a specialist school, and I was
Hmm.
of the thing. Well, if he goes to a specialist school and he's around children who are autistic or with special needs, then he's going to be more down that route. Like, I know when I work with my brother, he swears a lot. I then end up swearing. That comes more into my vocabulary, as where when I'm
Yeah,
working with people who don't swear, I just stay the same. So that's why I was like,
yeah.
you're very much a product of your environment. I was in massive denial, but I
Mm,
literally jumped straight to he's 18, 19. Is he going to have a relationship? Is he going to get married? That was literally where my head went straight away. I skipped all the years before that,
yeah. I suppose
which
it was
must have
quite
been hard for
scary.
you.
I don't remember it being, I'm not trying to like be disrespectful, but I don't remember it being hard for me. Like it probably was at the time, but if it was, I've kind of blocked that bit out,
Yeah, yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
Um, but I mean, in regards to obviously his schooling,
yeah.
so do you want to give a bit more insight into what happened around that and how you were feeling?
Yeah, yeah. So
Do you want me to
I
talk, or are you
yeah,
happy
because
to say it?
because I think I nicely nice it up a little bit as where you're like you can be
Okay.
more brutal. No, this is how you was. Yeah. So
Do you want to do it your nicey
no,
nicey way then?
no, no. You do it. You do it. Because I think
Okay.
it's good for people because there might be other people out there who are the same thing. In the same
Yeah.
situation.
Okay, so basically what had happened is where we live in Croydon, they have a department within the council called the SEND department, and someone from the early years had come out to see Jackson at his nursery school, and they'd spent some time with him and his teachers there, and then they asked to have a meeting with us. So we went to this meeting, and one of the first things that the lady had said to us was, "Have you considered specialist school for Jackson?" And Joe's immediate reaction was, "Nope, and we're not going to. He can go to the same school as his brothers." And obviously, he's already explained why. But she recommended a specialist school. But then, because Joe was so very anti, she gave us a list of what's called ELPs, which are like mainstream schools with a provision for special needs attached. So Joe was very much not interested in looking at the specialist school. So we went and looked at a few ELPs, and you didn't like them, did you, babe?
No, it made me feel like rubbish, to be honest with you. Like, it really made me feel like it's a mainstream school with a certain section and what you call an help. But it was like
Mm,
the kids with special needs were like just chucked at the back down a long corridor in the furthest room away from everybody. And I just thought it's great that they're offering that option for a school, and it might be great for some
yeah,
people. For me personally, I just felt like it was they was just going to push him and put him in a corner, and he wasn't really
yeah.
going to get too
That
into
was just
that.
one school that we looked at,
Yeah,
to be
yeah, it was
fair.
just one. That was just one school, but yeah, I think that was a like a big moment for me,
Yeah,
you know. But yeah, I wasn't fond of that uh, at all, at all.
yeah. So because of that, I used that to my advantage.
Yeah,
And I was like, let's just have a look at the specialist school, seeing as you hate these Alps. Um, and we'd also spoken to the Senko at the school where our older boys had gone.
yeah,
And we had a really frank conversation with her about exactly what Jackson was like.
yeah,
And she was really, we kind of knew her anyway. She
yeah,
was really honest with us. And she said, we'd never turn a child away, but actually he would probably really struggle here and it probably wouldn't be the best fit. If he was having a struggle, there were small things that they could do to like kind of keep his struggles at bay. But
yeah,
actually what she was saying is for them to put real things, real strategies, real provision in place actually takes a really long time in mainstream, is what at the
yeah,
time she was saying.
yeah,
And so he could potentially be struggling for months before there was any kind of intervention,
yeah.
um, which massively like put us off because you don't want to know that your child's struggling. So anyway, we went and looked at a
The,
specialist school, and then what happened, babe?
the specialist school that he's at now. Uh, yes, we went there. The first thing I noticed was that like they had big bolts on the top of the doors straight away, and I remember
Yeah,
saying to you, "Oh, it feels a bit like a prison." You know, they're locking
yeah,
the kids in. But Jackson's a runner, so actually, you know, it was quite good for us that we knew that he wouldn't be able to get to escape. But the thing
mm,
that actually sold it for me is we're walking through this classroom. It just makes me sound like a terrible person, but we're walking through this classroom, and this little boy is just taken an absolute shining to me, and he's holding onto my leg, and I'm holding Alyssa, our youngest daughter, who so how old would she have been? 5 months, if
yeah.
that.
She was baby. She
Yeah,
was really little.
tiny, tiny. And he's so I sort of went down to his level because I thought, oh, he wants to have a look at the baby. He wants to have a look at Alyssa. And he hit her so hard. I mean, it was a proper sound, and all the other parents were like, and I literally was just a bit sort of frozen. And then a teacher stepped in and got right down to his level and was like, "Oh, we use nice hands, and why don't you come over here and we have a time on the tablet?" Because he wouldn't actually let go of me. So she had to get
Mm,
down to his level and persuade him to let go of me, then to move over. And she just totally ignored me and the fact that he had hit Alyssa. So her main concern was him. How do I make
mm,
him okay in this moment? Because
yeah,
obviously being in a special needs school and like everyone having a special needs child, imagine there's 20 or 30 parents just walking through a classroom, right?
Yeah.
How much is that having an impact on your child? So,
Yeah.
and I think literally, I think as soon as we walked out of the classroom, I just whispered in your ear, like, this is the school for Jackson. But which sounds so messed up. But I don't think,
But
I
yeah.
think a big thing for me was as well, giving it a bit of history. I always got the best part of Jackson when I come home from work. Like I got
Yeah.
his best hours. So there was things that were happening during the day, and I was
Hmm.
just like, "Oh, what Jackson?" Like to me, it didn't make sense. And then it was, I can't remember. It was just one day, and I can't remember how old he was. He must have been a couple of years old by then, two and a half maybe. And then something
I
happened, and I was just like, I think he hit me. I think it was at the dinner table. I
It was
can't.
at the dinner table
Yeah,
and he wanted something off your plate and you said no and he
yeah,
punched you from behind. And
yeah,
I tried
yeah,
to warn you and you poo-pooed me off as you
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but so there was a lot of things with Jackson that I didn't see, and even what the nursery was saying, and I was just like, "You being serious?" Like, I don't get that with Jackson, but
Mm,
I would say we have a special bond. Do you know what I mean?
very
So
much, yeah.
that's so yeah. But then going to visit these schools, and then going to the specialist school and seeing how the other children were in the class, it was almost
Mm,
like, "Oh right, these are Jackson's people. You know, these are the people he needs to be around. You know,
mm,
this is the social group he needs to be around. This is the safe setting as in the school environment he needs to be because the classes were only 10 children to a class with one
hmm.
teacher, a teaching assistant, and a special needs teaching assistant. So
Yeah, two TAs, yeah.
two TAs, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me it was. I know I can be quite a stubborn person, and I don't mean to be, and I know it was at the detriment. Now looking back, how I was behaving or how I was acting was probably, if I'd gotten bored a lot sooner, then maybe Jackson would be a little bit further along. But honestly, at the time, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Like I
I
honestly,
don't think we would have been any further along.
yeah, yeah,
That's
I
that
don't know.
weird parental guilt that you've got. You just need to let it go because
Yeah,
actually it all moved as it was supposed to. He's in the right place and he's thriving. So
yeah, yeah, that's true. But yeah,
there's
I just
lots
think
of
for
if
me,
buts and maybes.
yeah, it was a big thing. Just not seeing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like one of them blind parents where their kids are well naughty and they're just like, oh no, he's fantastic, he's lovely. Yeah, right. But really, he's not. He's the devil. Like it was like I had that, but I just didn't want to see it. But
No, but I think it was very different. As you said, like you were at work all day. So Jackson, before he started his school, he was amazingly violent, but not when Daddy was around. It was
no,
always just kind of to me. And we had a conversation about this a few weeks ago, didn't we? And I
yeah,
said to you, did you not believe me then? And you were, what did you say? You,
it wasn't. I didn't believe you. I just thought you was over exaggerating, or I wouldn't even say that. But I mean, you nearly trip over and you're like, oh my god, I nearly died, and I'm like, all right,
yeah, I do that
mate. So you
every
know,
time.
so yeah, it wasn't that I didn't believe it, but it was so hard because when I come home, I got the
He was
engagement, the
super
eye
happy.
contact,
Yeah.
I got the playing, the giggling, and but yeah, I suppose that's. I am a kid. I'm like that with all of the kids. Like literally,
Mm.
I just want to play and mess about. As soon as it comes to serious parenting stuff, like you know what I'm like with the older two. That's it. You're not allowed on the PlayStation for a year, and then you have to pull me to the side, and you're like, "Come on, can we
That's
start
not
giving them punishments
realistic.
that are realistic?" And I'm like, oh, "Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah," because I don't like being that authoritarian one. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably where I was at.
Okay. So when, like, so after he's been diagnosed and everything, and even when he's settled in school, so for you personally, where did you find your support and information? Like, did you think it was readily available to you?
No, not at all.
No.
No, not at all. I mean, I will go back to the fact that I think we was very fortunate with the people that we met. and
Hmm.
people that you know you overhear other people talking once
Hmm.
you get into that sort of environment. Oh yeah, oh have you heard about this? Or you overhear people talking and you're like they're talking about sleep routines or something like that, or a course they went on to have a bit more of an understanding, and you're just like, oh okay, all right, we need to do that. And but
Mm.
I think you was a big support in because I think I sort of like withdrew a little bit. As much as I was like present and I was like, yeah, okay, come on, let's get things moving forward now. Once I'd accepted and we'd picked the school,
Mm.
I still feel like it took me a long time to come to terms with it. I still feel like that
How
was a
long would you
learning
say it took
process.
you?
Uh, God, do you know what? I wouldn't know. I would probably say a year to 2 years. I would probably say. I'd like
Really,
to,
from
yeah,
diagnosis?
I'd probably like to say, oh yeah, like a few months. Like I accepted things that, like, oh yeah, he needed to go to specialist school and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I understood that the way that he was and the way that his needs that school was right
Yeah.
for him. But yet, I still feel like it took me a long time because, like what I said to you when right at the beginning, I jumped to when he was straight like 18, 20 years old. Is he going to have a relationship?
Mm.
Is he going to have children? You know,
Mm.
I know that sounds silly, but I honestly believe mums are very good in living in the like right now, like right here
Mm.
and now. What does my child need right here and now? That's where I think,
Yeah.
like, my understanding of dads is that we always look further down the line. Like, that's just, especially the dads that I know and the way that I think.
Yeah.
I always think I'm at least looking 5 to 10 years down the line in regards to the kids. So,
Okay.
and I think what helped me come to terms with the courses that you set up for us to go on, the people
Hmm.
that you arranged for us to talk to, uh, I would say a big part was the occupational therapist that we took him to. That
Yeah,
lady, I
she was
can't
really
remember
good.
her name. I can't remember her name.
Andrea.
Yeah, she I think helped me understand his body, like in regards to his
Mm.
legs and his extreme tiptoe walking and his sensory
Hmm.
needs. I think I learned
Mm.
more from her in the first hour than I had from
Yeah.
any of the doctors that we had been seeing
Yeah.
in regards to
Yeah.
him. So yeah, and I suppose I probably, if I'd accepted people a bit more, I probably would have come to terms with it a lot sooner. But I'm can be quite a shut off and quiet person. I feel like sometimes once I've made up my mind about something, I'm quite
Mm.
easy to put my hands up and be like, yeah, yeah, I've got it wrong. But I need to internalize that for a while. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to understand things and right how how can I be still a good dad? How can I
Yeah.
give him everything he needs? Am I going to be able to? There was never like a question and an answer. It was like a question, a little bit of an answer, and then 10 more questions that come with it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't, yeah,
So
sorry, I went off in a bit of a
if
waffle.
there, no, that's fine. That's what this is. It's like a
Yeah.
conversation, babe. Like it's perfect. So I think you're actually quite a difficult person to ask this of, but if there had been support and you could have tailored it to you, what would it have looked like? Like, what would you have wanted after the diagnosis to help you kind of get through like the next stages, the next few years? Like, what would support have looked like for you if it was offered?
Oh, that's a really good question. I can't say I've ever, like, that is a good question. I can't say I've ever thought of it. Uh,
Okay.
I would definitely say like some sort of information as to what was available because like it's literally like you get your diagnosis and then like
Yeah.
there's nothing. Do you know what I mean? You don't know.
Mm.
Like you'll get a letter or something or a pack in the post that'll come hopefully
Mm.
in the next couple of weeks. There's nothing. Or you can go and look on the website. It's literally
Mm.
you have to go out there and look for stuff as to explanations and what
Mm.
help is out there. And like I didn't even know what autism was. I didn't have a clue, which I know sounds
Yeah.
strange with the age that we live in, but I didn't have a clue. So for
We
me,
kind of
it
live in
probably,
a bubble, though, didn't we?
yeah, we do, yeah. And so I think for me, some sort of organisation that was there to help you through that, just the understanding and not be forced on you, but we're here.
Mm,
And look, you come to us when you're ready, but we have loads of information here about learning courses,
mm,
support groups, people that have been there and done that. But
mm.
I think for me, it would be something that I'd need to have that information, and then I would go and broach it. If someone started coming talking to me straight away, I probably would have been like, "What? Chill out, mate. You know what I mean? Back up." But that's just the kind of person that I am. That's why I think we work so well, because you absorb everything and you're like, yeah, I want to know everything. I want to know the ins and outs, the latest, if someone's done some sort of paper on autism, like you will read it and you'll be like, all right, I've found out this, or I think this will work really well with Jackson, or this group is doing this, you know,
Mm.
play, play thing or sensory input, and you're like, oh, let's do that. So for me,
Yeah.
I think it would be really different if we wasn't together and it was just me with Jackson, because I don't think
Mm.
it'd be nearly as far as he is now with just me, because I wouldn't know where to look for this stuff. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I know
Yeah.
I can be. Sometimes I'm the most chattiest person to all the mums at the gate. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? And then other times I'm like, stush. Do you know what I mean? I'm like no one
Stay in my
talking.
car. Don't
Yeah,
talk.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
make
Don't
eye
talk to me. Yeah,
contact.
yeah. So I think that's why we work. You're really good at finding out these things and bringing them to me, or just being like, yeah, we're doing this course. Yeah. Or
Yes.
anything toy related, or anything that you want. As soon as you say Jackson and his needs, or it's good for him, or he needs it, he needs to
I don't
progress,
think he
or
needs it. I think it would help
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Is normally,
As soon as you say that, I'm getting it.
yeah.
That's it.
This is true.
Yeah, it's coming. But I like that with all of the kids,
So
not just him, by the way. I just want to say
yeah,
that. Yeah.
it they need it.
Yeah.
Right. Moving on from the support, like so, a lot of people speak about their mental health and stuff. When they're kind of trying to navigate like the processes and stuff with their children. Like, how do you feel like your mental health was, and did you get any help, or was you okay? Like,
I mean, my mental health. I mean, I would always say I'm like I'm a fixer of a person. Like that.
mm,
That's me. Like if there's a problem, like I want to be the
you
first
want to
to
fix it?
fix it, especially for the people that I love. So if you're upset
Mm,
or you're going through something, or Jackson or any of the other kids are going through something, my first thing is I want to fix it. And sometimes that can be the wrong thing, because people just you want me to back up. Like just give me 5 minutes. But my initial thing is like, right, how can I fix it? Because I feel like that's the
mm,
only real way I can help. So I think when
yeah.
I'm helping you guys and Jackson, that's good for my mental health, because I feel like
Okay.
I'm able to. But I felt where there was so much unknown, I would say, yeah, probably my mental health did take a back step, but I was stepping into something that I didn't know about. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? And like having to read, I hate reading. I was never good at it.
yeah.
You know, struggle even now when I have to read the kids a book. Like, I hate it. There was so much reading. And I was just like, why
Yeah.
can't someone put this in a video form? Like, so I could just listen to it. Like, honestly. Like,
Make a film.
yeah, just make a film. Like, yeah. If the book's any good, it should be made into a film. But even with knowledge stuff, like literally, that's how I think.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I think what yeah, my mental health did probably take a knock, but I'd probably say the thing that kept me going was like trying to keep up with you, with the knowledge side of
Okay.
things and the learning side of things, because I think
Yeah.
otherwise I would have gotten too overwhelmed with it all.
Okay. I feel a bit bad now.
No, is it? No, but you know me, you know my personality, like I'm a
Yeah.
fixer, and then if I can't fix it, I'm just like, oh my god, like what can I do
Now what?
now? What? Like Do you want a sandwich? Do you know what I mean? Like, honestly,
Cup of tea.
the tea, yeah, hot bath fixes everything, you know.
Oh my
But,
God, it really doesn't.
but yeah, I'd probably say, yeah, yeah, it took a knock.
So, where would you say you are now? You're in a good space. Where how many years in now? What? It was 3, 8, 5 years in.
Yeah. How would I say I am now?
Mm,
Yeah, I'd say I'm in a good space. I mean, sorry, I'm sweating a ton. It's like the hottest day of the year. All right. How would I say I am now? Yeah, I would say I'm good. I would still say uh, I worry. Am I learning enough, or am I? You know, because you never know. Like, am I pushing enough? Am I pushing too much? Am I giving
yeah.
the opportunity to learn more, or even like the basic things? But then he does so well at school. I'm just like, do I want to push him even more when he comes home, or should this be a safe space and he just chills out? But
Mm,
yeah, I would say I'm in a lot better place. I would definitely say I'm a lot better of a dad after having a child with special needs. 100%. Like, because before
no doubt.
I had like no patience. I'd just be like, nah,
Zero
yeah,
patience.
no. Like, everything was like black and white with me. If like, especially with the two oldest,
Hmm.
if you was naughty, like there's a menu at a restaurant. Oh, this is I've been naughty. Okay, that's my punishment. Blah blah blah. That's what I was like. But
Yeah.
with Jackson, I'll just definitely say I've gone to like totally the other way.
Mm.
Totally. But can
He
I
still
ask you
does get
what
in
you think?
trouble, but
Yeah. Can I ask you how you think I am now compared to back then?
uh,
I know
you are a
this.
million times better.
Yeah.
You're a million times better because you do have patience and before you couldn't be approached with like maybe don't like you would never take any kind of anything on board. Like try not to shout or try not to you were
Yeah.
just like, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm
Yeah.
a parent too. Like, don't act like you know better than me.
Oh, it makes me crazy.
Whereas now, oh, but we were younger then as well.
Yeah.
Um, whereas now you're very receptive to kind of like he's had a really bad day. Try not
Yeah.
to be too boisterous. Try not to be too.
Yeah, and I don't get that right all of the time. There are still times now where I'm just
No,
like, yeah, it's all right, babe. Like, I've just got home. I just want to mess about with him for a little bit. Because in my head, I'm just like, I feel like I've got the superpower to bring him out when he's down, or he's sad, or he's angry, or he's having a meltdown. I feel like I've got
and
the
sometimes
power.
you can,
Yeah, sometimes I can. Yeah, like I only done
and
it once. And
sometimes you
the
can't.
positivity stuck with me, but I don't know. I definitely feel like not only a better dad, a better person. Like
Hmm.
100%, 100%. But yeah,
I think on that note, we'll probably wrap up. But will you join me again one time in the future?
definitely 100%. Yeah,
Okay, probably more than one time.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we'll probably have you on
There's
again.
only so much you can get in a short space of time, so it'd
I
be good to
know,
dive
I
into
know.
some things. And yeah, I feel like everybody thinks that I'm some real authoritarian, and then I'm turned into some. Yeah, I was kind of always a nice guy. I'd like to think.
Mm. So on that note, thank you for listening, and we will see you soon. Bye.